In 1980, Chris Campbell was considered one of the best wrestlers in the United States, and his goal was to go to the Olympics. Unfortunately, right before the Olympic trials, he was injured in a world competition, and so in 1980, Chris Campbell spent the Olympics sitting on his couch. In 1984, Chris Campbell was one of the best wrestlers in the world. He had made the U.S. Olympic teams, and he was going to the games. Except in 1984, the Americans boycotted the Olympics. And so Chris watched the 1984 Olympics from his couch. Shortly thereafter, Chris Campbell stepped out of the wrestling ring. He went back to school, he became a lawyer. He assumed that his wrestling days were behind him. And so in 1988, Chris Campbell watched the Olympic Games from his couch. But as he watched those games, he knew he was supposed to be there. He knew that his career was not over. And so despite the fact that he was significantly older, despite the fact that he had a career and a full-time job, Chris Campbell started to train. Chris Campbell started to compete, and Chris Campbell started to win. In 1992, as Chris Campbell stepped into the arena at the Olympic Games, he was the oldest American to ever compete in wrestling. He was at that time the oldest American to ever compete in an Olympic Games. Now, it's easy to hear the story of Chris Campbell and to say, well, you know, he was an extraordinary man. I can't do that. I met Chris Campbell, and let me tell you, Chris Campbell was an ordinary man. He was quiet, a little bit shy. He was very focused. But Chris Campbell was an ordinary man with extraordinary passion. And that's what made the difference, his passion. In 1992, Chris Campbell came home with a bronze medal for wrestling. As you look at your business and your challenges, my question is very simple. Do you have the passion, or are you sitting on the couch?